You see all kinds of fancy ironwork and ornamental work in an area like New Orleans. We did that. You see an area called Broadway in New York City. We built that. Down there where Wall Street is in New York on Trinity, we built that. The roads here in Delaware, we built that. The railroads, we built that. We built this country. You know, and it doesn't take a lot. Just go on the internet now and you see it for yourself. We built this country for free. There were no unions or wages, we were slaves, but we built this country.
Hey folks, this is your guy Moise Michelle with Be Influenced. I'm here with Raymond Dawson. How you doing today, sir?
Good, brother. Good to be here.
Good to see you. And be ready to be influenced. So Raymond Dawson, how you doing today, my good man?
Pretty good, brother. I got a chance to meet you in person, man, so I am doing great.
Man, it's an honor of mine as well.
Thank you, bro.
As you already know, this young man right here, he's the owner and founder, or I should say the creator of Albuline.
I'll keep moving on.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we could do it, yeah.
Mhm.
He's a creator and founder of Albuline, which is an online bookstore. Not only a bookstore, it's an all-purpose store for all things African American. So tell us a little bit about this website.
Yeah, so the website was just sparked out of the idea of collecting as many black products, services that come from all people, meaning black people, to provide for all people and really for the world. And so I wanted to, once I got or became aware of these products, became aware of the service, we wanted a central location where people could go and buy and purchase and just become aware. So we kind of got two purposes in doing this. Let's make our people aware that we build, we create, we own, we manufacture, and then let's have another place, because there's other websites such as We Buy Black, the Buy Black movement, and I'm sure some others I may not know about, that's doing the same thing, bringing our people together with our products and services and making them available to our people and also to the world. So that's where everything comes from, where the keep belongs.
So you're pretty much like Fugal, where for us, by us,
Yes,
which I truly love.
Yes,
And in this market, knowing that there's others like We Buy Black
Mhm.
and so on and so forth,
Yes, sir.
would you say, is there any competition? Because to me, I don't look at it as competition. I look at it as that
Right.
the more the better.
Yeah, we share the same thought. My philosophy that I've learned is, the universe provides an abundance for everybody. So I tell you, I came to concept, one day I was driving, I was at an intersection, there were 4 gas stations on each corner of the intersection. And so when you think about that, all the gas stations in competition with each other, and if they are, all 4 of them are thriving. So what registered to me was that, yeah, there's enough for everybody.
That's
so
true.
whether I'm on the right side of the street and I buy gas on that side, or the left side of the street and I buy gas on that side, or maybe I like BP for a particular reason, but regardless, there's enough people who need gas, want to buy gas, that all 4 of those gas stations can be there and they can thrive. So when it comes to our people, no matter if we all sell the same thing, even when I think about the farmer's market, and everybody's got oranges, pears, fruits, but everybody's thriving in that market, and they all are there in harmony, working collectively together, and everybody's surviving, taking care of their family and themselves. So with our people and our products and our businesses, my mindset, as much as I would love for our people mindset, is that among each other, there is no competition, because again, the universe provides for everybody. So we all can live and we all can thrive. So that's the thought.
And as a people, how can we combat that mind frame? Because we're more like crabs in a barrel,
Yes, sir.
and it's hard to debunk that mind frame. But how will we do that in this time and in this market?
Yeah, many of our leaders, from our research of yesterday and today, has taught you and I, or tried to remind you and I, that we must love who we are. We must love our blackness. We must not apologize for being black. It is great for us to look at what we have done historically, to know what our potential is, and even look at today, if we had enough exposure to our scientists, to our architects or agriculturalists, all of those beyond the basketball, football, entertainment. And don't get me wrong, those brothers and sisters are beautiful for what they do too. But for us to know that and be aware of who we are and develop a love. So, again, when the black man accepts himself, when he loves who he is, then he can love his brother, he can love his sister, and he can do business without hesitation or reservation or suspicion about what he's created or what she's created, for him and for his needs and to meet his needs. So it's a journey, and it's tough for us because everything is telling you and I that we are just mediocre, we are all right, we are just good enough. It will never be as, our ice, I should say, will never be as cold as the white man's ice. And so we must, come away from that. And that's a journey in itself. So brothers like yourself, brothers like what I'm doing, sisters out there, all of us out there who are trying to make that message, not in just our words, but in our actions, I think slowly but surely we will come back to who we really are. I don't like to say what we once were, because that would suggest that we aren't that anymore.
That's true.
But just who we are. And I think, when that happens, we'll be in a good place.
And we see with that mindset, I love it, because you being an educator and being the vice principal of Grady High School, how is it, raising these beautiful black babies? I know there's other ethnicities in the school, but especially with the black babies, I wouldn't say it's biasness more so, but how is it raising these beautiful black babies?
Yeah, working in the public school system, especially at a place like Grady, but probably any school, it's tough because I'm there, I'm very aware of what's going on within the curriculum, what the damage the curriculum is doing to us, what it's telling us about who we are. So as much as any, let's say, caring educator, but in this case a black one, as I look at our children, I'm doing whatever I can in the parameter of what I'm able to do and the autonomy of what I'm able to do. I'm realistic about whose system I'm in. I'm realistic about who's in control of that system. But for what I'm able to do, I take a lot of joy, a lot of passion in not necessarily being able to talk as direct and upfront, but convincing or telling our children to look greater than coming out and getting a job, look more so beyond just the college education so that you can train yourself to be a good worker for someone else. But I do talk to our children about entrepreneurship. That's probably a big conversation that I have. And my main thing about telling them that is so that when their children come out of school, and even for themselves, they can provide their people with a place of employment. They can provide their people with a job. And I always tell my young sisters, sister, you're a queen, you're beautiful. You're beautiful inside, you're beautiful outside. To our brothers, I tell them, you're a king, so kings would not dress the way some of our brothers dress.
You hear that, young man? Keep your pants above your waistline.
Exactly. So it's using some of those words, and then some of the cool talk. Kids got language like we have. When we come up. And so we use that language too to connect, and that's really my role. I see as being in this position of assistant principal at Grady to show them love, show them honor, show them respect, and give them something to think about. So when they leave my office, I'm hoping that seed germinates at some time later on.
So I think that's a great job, and knowing that our kids are not really being taught much, especially about their history, their ancestors' history, is kind of tough.
Yes.
But also, how do you combat, as a vice principal, how do you combat the school to prison pipeline that's really killing the black community?
Right. Yeah, that's a good talk. Well, I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't harp a lot on look at all of what we're doing. Look at all our brothers out here. We're doing this. We're doing that. Now, women. Again, I just try to get them to think about. In my mind, it's like nation building.
Okay.
So I may say, hey, brother, so what you gonna do at the high school? And brother told me, I'm gonna be a football player and all that. I said, okay. So I may say something like, man, so what happens, man, if you end up hurting yourself real bad? Because they'll kind of pass you on for somebody else. What could you do from there? So the brother may say, I don't really think about that, because I'm gonna be a good player and I'm pretty healthy. And so I just try to talk about them being a coach, creating a football league, and I tell them, try to imagine if you created a league for other brothers to play football, but you were the owner of it, right? The owner of that league. And then there were some other brothers that joined you, and they took their money and they bought some teams, right? And since we have all the talent, it's us who make the NFL. The NFL don't make us.
That is true.
If we came out of the sport, nobody would watch the NFL.
Not at all.
So if we owned it and we were the true beneficiaries of everything that we, think we're benefiting from the NFL, how wealthy would we be? So we just kind of have those conversations. I talk to our sisters, and sisters, I'll say, forgive me when I talk about the weave. I say, well, okay, you purchase hair, but you're not the beneficiary of the hair. You aren't the main owners of all this hair that's going out. When you purchase it, you attach it to yourself, and that's it. So imagine if you control the hair weave business. How wealthy would we be? How wealthy would you be? What would your house look like? What would your car look like? What would your children, how would they benefit and gain from owning that process that so many people benefit off of us with our nickels and dimes? So it's a different kind of conversation with young people, but those are the conversations that I have. Everything's about looking at how we can become the beneficiaries off of what we spend most of our money for, and I can't help with that, but to go into even the movie Panther today.
Yeah.
So it's record breaking. They're saying that this movie may actually hit $1 billion. We know last weekend that it had already made $250 million. Unfortunately, as our people go in to see Panther, it's with some pride. It is with enthusiasm for what we can get from it. But the real beneficiaries of Panther is Disney and Marvel Comics. They are the ones who are reaping the $250 million plus that's already been generated from that movie. So again, what we have to look at and what we have to think about is, how do we take our own talents? Because those are our people in there acting and doing that, right? Well, how do we take that and we become the beneficiaries? We take Disney out of the equation. We take Marvel Comics out of the equation. So since we bring the talent, because it's a brother who directed it, and that's all great and good, but all of those people were paid.
Yeah. So
their services are done. So now the revenues after that, again, is not benefiting us. But what can our people do with $250 million? What can our people do with the $1 billion that is projected to make? That would change a lot of lives in our community and a lot of lives for us. So, that's an extended answer to what you asked, but it all leads to the conversations that I'm having with the young people that I come across, while we're at school or after school and so forth.
And, being an educator and, seeing most of the faces are beautiful black faces that you have to deal with constantly, how do you feel about the situation where cops are attacking and taking the lives of these young kids? And not only that, as well as the school shooting that took place last week, how fearful are you that it might happen at your school?
I can't say I think a lot about it occurring at the school. I mean, it is a thought because it happens. This is where my spiritual side comes in, and I have to believe that, we have purpose there, that there's a spirit greater than us that will protect us with that. But, it's not to say that obviously it can't happen, because I'm sure most people feel that way. Malcolm made a comment in one of his speeches, and this may sound harsh, but when you look at the actions of what the police have done to us, white policemen and women, what this young man has done, and then his profile in itself, which tends to be predominantly white. I'm not aware of a black man shooting up a school.